Namaskar. Hello, everyone. On behalf of Nrityatri, I, Swarada Bhave, welcome you all in this interactive session. Nrityatri always takes into consideration demands of dancers. And so today we have planned this interactive session with Dr. Purva Shah, who has been part of Nrityatri's activities, workshops, lecture demonstrations, and various shows by renowned artists and dance institutes also. Dr. Purva Shah herself is a Kathak dancer and disciple of Guru Yogini Gandhi and Pandit Birju Maharaj Ji, and also she is a dermatologist. I welcome Purva, and we are excited to get some healthy inputs from you.
Hi, Swarada. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. And I must say, I'm very happy to be on this talk with you today, with you all. And it's even more special because if I can, with any of the information that I have or any of my expertise can be of help to my own community of dancers, I would be really happy to be of help.
Yeah. So, should we begin the session?
Sure.
Yeah. So, first, I would like to ask that during dance class or during our regular rehearsals, we are like pouring with sweat. So, what specific care should be taken, especially for teenagers, like they are just starting their career? So, what the specific care should be taken for sweating?
When you're saying sweating, do you mean face or do you mean body?
No, the
Overall.
overall body. Yeah, overall.
Overall. Okay.
Yeah.
So see, as far as sweating is concerned, it's actually a good thing for your body. It's like excretion, right?
Yeah.
So there's you're excreting water. There's urea. So sweating per se is good for you. You're burning calories, but allowing the sweat to stay on your body for long can be
Okay.
detrimental to your skin, right? Because it could harbor the growth of certain microorganisms
Okay.
as far as the rest of your body is concerned, especially in the folds. So whether it's your armpits, whether it's the groins. So in that case, yes, the sweat should be cleared off as soon as possible. As far as your face is concerned, along with sweat, there's also the secretion of some amount of oil from your skin, from the oil glands of your skin. Now, what that lands up doing is it blocks your pores. So it puts you at the risk of pimples or acne,
True
right?
that. Yeah.
And again, it harbors microorganisms which can give you other kinds of superficial skin infections. And
Okay.
so, for the same reason, it's again essential that you wash away the sweat. Now, as far as your face is concerned, you don't even need to really use a soap or a face wash to wash away the sweat. Just rinsing with tap water or cold water or room temperature water is more than enough to take care of that sweat. And this,
Okay.
frankly, this applies to everyone. It doesn't make a difference if you're a teenager or a 60-year-old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This applies to everyone.
So this should be the routine, like
Yeah.
to maintain the good skin. Like,
To maintain your skin and to, basically to keep your skin hydrated as well as clean. Now, the
okay.
thing is that a lot of people land up using harsh soaps or face washes immediately after any form
Yes.
of exercise, frankly. And that what that happens is that you tend to over cleanse. Each time you wash your face, a soap is not necessary or a face wash is not necessary. Unless you find your skin extremely oily,
Mm-hmm.
then I recommend that yes, you may use a face wash. But more often than not, a face wash used once a day at night at the end of your day is more than enough to take care
Okay.
of the cleansing part of your skin is concerned. Water itself is an excellent cleanser. So if you rinse your face multiple times in a day, because I think a lot of people have the schedule where, say, in the morning they're doing their own riyas, then they go for class and they teach their students, and then maybe you have a rehearsal for a performance later in the evening. So you're practically sweating through the day.
Yes.
At different times. So it's I wouldn't recommend that if you'll end up using your face wash all 5 times, then like good luck with your skin.
Yeah.
So which is why rinsing with water and tap water, all of us have at access everywhere. So just rinsing very well with tap water is more than enough.
Okay. Thank you for that, Purva.
Sure.
So hi Purva, thanks for joining in again. So as dancers, we all know that makeup is one of the essentials. So it's
Yes.
really important for us to choose the right product. So the question to you is that what should we keep in mind while purchasing makeup products? Example, which ingredients we should look for or avoid? And just like ISI standardization, is there any standardization for makeup products? Thank you.
Okay. So when you say ISI, so ISI is obviously for electronic products and stuff like that. We already know that. Now, as far as makeup is concerned, it's a slightly more complex product, because what happens is that most countries, say in the US, for example, the makeup is definitely regulated by the FDA. There is something called the Federal Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act that the FDA has, and under which they regulate their makeup. Now, when makeup is regulated, it's not regulated as foundation or lipstick. It's regulated based on the ingredients on that particular product. So some of those ingredients may need an FDA approval, some may not. Right? So it's not as simple as the FDA approving a tablet.
Right.
Which is for consumption, because most tablets will have, say, one ingredient which needs FDA approval, and so it will undergo those clinical trials. This is different in that sense. So if you were to personally get into the regulation of every single makeup product, it would be a very tedious process for you. There isn't, say, a mark on your makeup product that you can look for. It's not as easy as that. In the in Europe, you have the European Commission regulations. In India as well, we have a Drug and Cosmetic Act. But what we do follow, and what is one thing that you can look for, is when you look at the makeup that you're buying, you look at the label. Now, your label will have a few essential things, like it will have a manufacturing date. There will be an expiry date. Now, on most makeup products, you may see the picture of a jar, which is open, right? And then you have a number written on the jar, which will say 9M, 12M, 24M, which basically means that from the date of you opening the jar, that product is viable for the next, whatever that number says. 9M is 9 months, 24M is 24 months. Right? So that's your expiry date. Okay, so that is one thing that a lot of your skincare products will have. Shampoos will have it. Your soaps, as in your body wash, may have it. Your moisturizers will have it. Makeup has it, right? So that is your expiry date. Apart from that, what you can look for on makeup is words like hypoallergenic, which means that there are lesser chances of it causing allergies. Okay. The other thing that you can look for is non-comedogenic. Comedones are what we in lay terms call blackheads. Those in medical language are called as comedones. So a lot of the makeup, especially base foundations that we use, are capable of blocking the pores, right? And once a pore is blocked, that is known as that's what gives rise to a blackhead, right? And we don't want our pores to be blocked, especially for people who use makeup regularly. So you look for the word non-comedogenic. Now, frankly, every product is different for every person, because what may be comedogenic for you may not be comedogenic for me, because that also my skin type plays a role in that. But once you see that a product is non-comedogenic, by and large, it's safe to use. You'll only really know once you use it. But by and large, you can consider it safe to use. So these are a few terms that you can look for. Apart from that, your label should have all the ingredients clearly listed, right? So what we have in India is a labeling standard, okay, which is known as BIS. Okay, so they say that these are the things that a label must have, where it's been manufactured, where who's exporting it, for in case of international products. So there's a lot of things involved, but as long as you see a clear label that at least talks of the ingredients, and for your own skin type, if you look at the words like hypoallergenic, non-comedogenic, non-fragrant even, fragrances do create allergies. There's more chances of a fragrant product giving you a rash or a reaction or an allergy, as opposed to something that doesn't have fragrances. So whether it's your foundation or in case of moisturizers, a lot of moisturizers, we like moisturizers that smell nice, but they are actually slightly more risky to use than non-fragrant ones, right? So these are the few things that you can look for on makeup. If you try and get into the different acts and the different bodies that regulate makeup, it's extremely complicated. So I wouldn't suggest you get into that. Also, most of your brands that you use, whether it's a big international brand or even a well-known Indian brand, you're safe. That's good quality makeup.
Okay.
The other thing you asked me is about ingredients in makeup, right? Now, as far as ingredients in makeup is concerned, you're mainly referring to base or foundation, right? Your other makeup that you, have is eye makeup and then lips. So as far as your base is concerned, so when we talk about skin type, there's dry skin and oily skin, and then there's a combination of the two. Frankly, all of us will go through all three in our lifetime. At some point, we're going to feel like, oh, my skin has become too dry. And then at some point, you're like, oh, God, it's very oily right now. So I don't really say that a person's skin type is this. Skin types are with the kind of skin that you have is based a lot on the kind of hormonal makeup you have at that point of time as well, right? So it's bound to change. So which is why you should definitely consult a dermatologist for you to get a clear idea on what your skin is behaving like right now, right? And then nobody wants really oily or really dry skin. So you try and keep it in between as much as possible. Okay, for which you'll need to get into a daily skincare routine, etc. But if you do have very oily skin, or if you have acne prone skin, then in that case, look for the words mineral based on your makeup, on your foundations. If you have dry skin, then oil based makeup works well for you, right? If you for oily skin, what also works very well is either a mousse or a whipped foundation. So all of these words will obviously be written on the case that you're looking at. But by and large, avoid creamy makeup on oily skin and avoid liquid makeup or dry makeup on dry skin. Right? Okay. And the best thing to do is to use a good moisturizer at all times.
So Purva, as you said right now that, makeup should be, we all go through different type of skin all through our lives. So is it important to keep on switching on the makeups, depending upon the season? Or if we are in the summer season, we tend to sweat a lot. Our skin tends to be a little more dry than usual. So also in winters. So is it important to just keep on switching the makeup depending on the change? Yes.
Yes. So see, the point of makeup is either to cover or to enhance. right? So a lot will depend on your requirement as well. Now, if I'm doing this talk with you today, I don't need the makeup, right? Unless I have something to cover up. So it also depends on what you're looking to achieve. Say you have a performance that's a 2-hour performance for an audience of 10,000 people. So clearly your lights are going to be stronger than 1,000 suns put together. So in that case, you will need a thicker coat of makeup because you're going to sweat that much more. And then keeping in mind that you're going to sweat, you're going to have to use makeup that doesn't wash away with your sweat. Right? So all of those things will play a role. But yes, you will need to keep alternating between makeup. Sometimes just even a compact is more than enough. Sometimes you need to layer and layer and layer. So it will depend on what you're looking to achieve, what your skin is asking for at that point of time, what your look requirement is. It will be based on all of those things.
Okay. Yeah, that was absolutely very, very insightful. Thank you so much.
Sure.